have been in the outfield. Oh, Brou is back. He's ready to break down the off-season moves of every single team in the league. We're going to see how many we can get to. We're going to start right here in New York, where the Knicks' biggest move, obviously, was hiring coach Mike Brown and getting rid of Tibbs. Also, Jordan Clarkson. So, Brou.
I like Yabusele.
Yeah. Solid, but I'd say Mike Brown is a bigger move. Brou, you don't look thrilled with this, so don't give away the grade. So, what is your grade for the New York Knicks?
2 words. Oh, my.
Oh, okay, I got tricked.
I love what the Knicks have done.
Oh.
And we're going to talk, I think, a little more about Mike Brown and Thibodeau later.
Yeah.
But I won't say everything, but I think this was a good hire. I think Mike Brown, remember all year or second half of the season, I was saying, or really late in the season in the playoffs, I would try to convince Thibodeau, if I'm the Knicks, to play our bench more and make the offense a little more innovative and sophisticated so it's not just Jalen Brunson left, Jalen Brunson right. Mike Brown brings the intensity, the focus on defense that Thibodeau has brought, but he adds those other 2 elements. He's going to play the bench deep. And offensively, he is more innovative. Early in his career, he was a defensive guy. Give it to LeBron and let LeBron do everything. But he went to Golden State, learned about that offense. Then he goes to Sacramento. His first year in Sacramento, they had the best offensive rating in history to that point.
Yeah,
now,
we're lighting the beam.
Yeah, well, right. So, and they had a point guard who you could have just put it in his hands and said, De'Aaron Fox, go do your thing. But he got everybody involved. So I think it's a good hire. And then, look, I don't know how y'all feel about it. I love Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah.
Off the bench, he's been a 20-point scorer in this league. He's 16 for his career. And Yabusele, like you said, they're going, and we know the bench guys last year that played well that we saw in the play, DeLon Wright and McBride, guys that actually played pretty well, Shamet. So I think this has been a great offseason for the Knicks. I do think they should be the favorites in the East. Because let's face it, Mike Brown's got to get into the finals. A-.
A-.
So I like the player moves they made, even though I don't like Clarkson as much as you, because I like Clarkson more than Cam Payne and Shamet. And I think that's going to, in games that matter, that's going to be his role. Off the bench, give us some offense. You know what I mean? And can we, when Brunson goes to the bench, if Towns is off as well, can we run 4 minutes of offense where you take, it's Jordan Clarkson time, which he wants it always to be, and take some shots. I like Yabusele as the idea of what he can become, and I now look at him as like, oh, okay, as presently constituted, they have 9 guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have your starting 5 plus Mitch, Miles McBride, these 2. There's your 9 guys. And so, I like that. Like you said, we're talking about Mike Brown in about 10 minutes. But I think they are deserved co-favorites along with the Cavs in the East right now.
We're trying to get to every team here, so let's head
all 30.
We're trying, but we got to.
All right, the Nuggets.
I got to do it first.
Oh, go ahead.
You want to go?
No, go ahead.
Michael Porter Jr. gone. Cam Johnson's here. Bruce Brown is back with a hat. Also, Tim Hardaway Jr. and Valanciunas, if he decides to play on his contract. The Nuggets said, you know what? You signed a contract. We expect you to honor it. He's like, well, TBD. Brou, grade for Denver.
That's pretty good.
I know. That's why I was surprised you started off with an A-.
You moved from the Rockets to the Nuggets. I heard that's your team.
I moved back.
It's back to the Nuggets?
Well,
you just disbanded. Okay, look, obviously they got to get things settled out with Valanciunas. All right, he doesn't want to be a backup. I think he will play a lot with Jokic because two bigs. Bro, I get it, but
I don't think it's about ego.
Yeah, I don't think it's about
wanting
Jokic
to play. If you look at it like that, it's not like I'm too good to be a backup. It's more I love playing basketball and I have a place that wants me to play 30 minutes a game.
Right.
In Europe.
But I think you'll get good
sure.
minutes because I think they'll play together at times.
I like that.
And obviously Jokic will take breaks. So, but then, I mean, we all know what Bruce Brown meant to this team coming off the bench when they won the championship. Cam Johnson, it's weird. I probably don't think he's quite as good individually as Michael Porter Jr.
So that's what I was saying yesterday.
But
he might be a better fit.
Yeah, I think he'll be a good fit
Yeah.
I think he's a slightly better defender. I think he shoots it well, not the three as well as Porter Jr., but he can shoot it.
And he doesn't shoot it off the move as well. Like, the thing that makes Porter special when he's healthy is his ability at 6'10" to be on the move and just rise and shoot, which is a very unique skill set. So that he's a different player than Cam
Porter Jr. is more talented, but the depth has been what's hurt them over these past few years, and now they just added a bunch of depth. And I'm forgetting
Tim Hardaway Jr.
Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, shooting. Like, that's going to be great. I think he's going to play well over Jokic. A-. A-. No need to switch that one.
So I am now legit nervous about, if I'm the Nuggets, about Valanciunas coming over. Again, translated interviews are always tough, but just reading a quote that he reportedly gave earlier today, like, well, we'll see what happens. I know they want me. But he seems like he really wants to play. Is it for the Greek team? Brou,
it's overseas.
Reporting on the ground. You were just there.
Yeah.
But I think he's very important for this offseason to make sense for them. You know what I mean? And for them to one of the reasons I believe they traded Michael Porter Jr. was because campaign maybe gives you
Cam Johnson,
85% of the production at 55% of the salary, use some of that savings to add a guy like Valanciunas. You know what I mean? Yeah. If he ends up being like non-extradition, come get, what are you going to do? And I'm not sure I think, some leagues have deals with the NBA where it's like, well, if he's got to play. Then we won't play him if he if he doesn't reach an agreement with you guys. I understand that. But they need, if this actually is their offseason, I think it was great. If Valanciunas doesn't come over, I think it goes from an A- to a B-. Still good, but not great, because what they need is, in my opinion, in the regular season, to be able to function with Jokic on the bench. Yeah. And right now, I don't know that they could do that.
Okay. 28 more teams to go. We're going to go to Milwaukee, which made a surprising move here, grabbing Miles Turner, waiving Dame and stretching out his contract. Brook Lopez going to the Clippers. We'll talk about them in a second. Well, we're going to talk about all the teams, obviously. So talk about Brook Lopez in a second. Portis Prince and Trent Jr. Re-signed. Brou, what is your offseason grade for the
Look,
Bucks?
they had to do something. This was obviously, it looked like a panic move to me, and I don't think it's enough. Like, basically, by stretching Damian Lillard's contract over the next 5 years, they're going to pay him like $22 million a year. Yeah. So that's kind of like NFL dead money or something like that.
That's exactly
dead cap money, right? Turner, I like Turner.
Yeah.
And I like him with Giannis. He's kind of like Lopez used to be. But he's not as good as Lopez used to be. Like, he doesn't shoot it as well, the three, and he didn't shoot well in the finals. 37% overall, 21% from three. Doesn't rebound. I mean, Lopez didn't rebound that well either. But I don't think defensively at this point Turner's as good as Lopez was in his prime, like when they won the championship. And so I don't, and the bottom line is they have no, like, I won't even say elite level, close to elite level, no above average guard play at all. So are they going to put the ball in Giannis's hands and just spread it out? Again, Turner's not the great shooter. They got Kevin Porter Jr., Gary Trent Jr. These guys are pretty good for role players, primarily off the bench ideally, but unless they get some type of guard. So you got Giannis, Kuzma, and Turner is your starting line. Like I said last week, or 2 weeks ago, all they done is push the ball down. Like, if you want to say they had to do something to make Giannis feel good and this made him feel good, fine, but how long is that going to last? I'm starting to think the best move for them, when they, midway through the season, when they're 6th in the East, or 5th or 6th in the East, and Giannis is antsy, they may end up trading him. And I'm starting to think
Cleveland,
they may have to.
There's 3 ahead of them, Wildes, that I know you think. Philly, if they're healthy, would be 4. That would put them at 5th.
not ready.
We're not even
I'm not ready to-
Detroit.
I'm not. But we didn't mention Detroit, Miami. Like
I think
yeah,
had
I
a
mean,
good- I like what they've
Atlanta.
done.
Atlanta.
What do you
could,
think they're gonna?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's
possible.
I think 5th or 6th is probably about where.
is.
This is what what's their grade, Brou? Sorry, I interrupted it.
Well, they're not gonna like it, but
A D?
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Jeez.
KW,
You're postponing the inevitable.
the
DC.
So,
What if they did nothing? If Giannis
Is
left,
that
we'd get
much
an
of a
F.
difference? No, you can get. Look, they may need to trade Giannis.
Yeah.
It may not just be best for Giannis. At this point, it might be best.
But they
for
don't
them.
view it that way. And so here's what I said yesterday. And I know we have another 27 teams to go. Their only hope, and I don't think this is out of his realm of possibilities. Giannis needs to do his version of 2018 LeBron, where LeBron had an aging, not the same Kevin Love, and then a bunch of pieces post Kyrie. Remember, they remade the team mid-year because of the Isaiah, and it was just like, all right, here's the deal. Ball's going to be in my hands the whole game. I'm going to figure stuff out. We're going to have a mediocre regular season, and then in the playoffs, because the East in 2018 was a little uneasy like it is now, you're going to have to beat me 4 out of 7.
Yeah, but
like,
I don't think Giannis can play like that. Not to the level LeBron. LeBron was a point guard mentality. Giannis can run the point. He's a solid passer. He's nowhere near the passer LeBron is. Doesn't have the basketball IQ LeBron had. Like, I don't see Giannis being able to do that. As great as he is.
It's a big ask because some people think that's the best version of LeBron ever. So asking Giannis to be the best version, but that's their only path to me.
Okay, 27 more. We're going to go back out to L.A. now. Talk about your Clippers. Yep, there's Brook Lopez coming over. Also,
you know what?
Norm Powell on the move. They did re-sign Harden and John Collins.
In the Norm Powell trade. Yeah.
Nice offseason for the Clippers. Look, I like Norman Powell. I hate to lose him. But I think John Collins is a nice addition. You can play him at that 4. I think these last few years, people have forgotten about how good he's a pretty good player.
Yeah, that's what happens when you play in Utah.
Absolutely. Brook Lopez to be the backup center to Zubac. The problem with the Clippers is this. Kawhi, you just can't count on him because of his health. And then Harden, and it's more he's going to disappear in a big game. It's more evident than ever, Nick. Game 7, what'd he do against Denver? 7 points. 2 for 8 shooting. Come on, you can't do it. So I'm giving him a B.
These grades.
I'm giving him a B.
Okay.
What do you think it should be?
I don't know.
No, I mean, it's a B because ultimately we know that there is not a fiber in my being that believes they're going to win the West.
Yeah, of course.
And last year I actually felt, who knows how these playoffs are going, but then Harden did Harden in the game.
I like the Brook Lopez edition. I like everybody seemed to love Norman Powell when they were playing their tiny violins for him not getting an all-star spot that LeBron got because LeBron didn't play. And now everybody thinks that they did better in this trade. I like Norm Powell a touch more than I like John Collins. So I thought Miami did really well. Miami gave up almost nothing. So that Miami definitely did great in the trade. But I agree with Brou. I just don't look at the Clippers as viable contenders.
All right, 26 more. We're going to New Orleans now. This was an odd one.
Well, you said in the morning meeting, Brou, you got to get some you don't like.
Well, they added Jordan.
Because I could have added Miami. I could have picked Miami.
Gone, Bruce Brown.
And I like what Miami did. I actually think Miami might make a little noise in the East. But I went with one I didn't like. I hate to do this because, I like them adding Joe Dumars to the front office and Troy Weaver. But
if you like Joe Dumars, this doesn't.
I gotta be objective.
Yeah, he's objective. He's a journalist.
First of all, C.J. McCollum was your lone voice of reason in that locker room, right? He's gone. You just got a bunch of young boys. Zion isn't gonna be your leader, all right? You got a bunch of young guys, and I'm not mad at the young guys for this.
They brought
you know what you do when you're young and you get in the NBA? Like, you want to establish yourself.
True.
If you think your star potential then you do that individually. If you know, man, my path is just to try to be a role player my whole career, then I'm doing the stuff to try to win. As an individual, I'm not saying the young boys don't want to win, but they want to put up numbers so I can get that max, that second contract.
You don't think Jordan Poole's going to be a steady?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you got Jordan Poole, who we know what he's about on the court. And then Derek Queen, I like the trade, and you broke it down 2 weeks ago at the draft. The trade to move up to get Derek Queen, next year you give up your first round unprotected pick to Atlanta. That pick by New Orleans is gonna be a great pick.
Yeah,
might be number one.
That's the problem.
Because they're not making the playoffs in the West.
That's why it was insane.
And so that was insane. But here's the other thing, Nick. I like Derek Queen.
I do too.
All right, from Maryland. But he shot 20% from three.
Yeah.
How's he gonna play with Zion, who doesn't shoot three? It just doesn't. None of this makes sense. They just shifted around a lot of stuff. So
tough one.
I hate to do that.